From Lagos, Nigeria, this is News Central. I'm Adeshawa Josh. Our top stories tonight. Supreme Court dismisses Governor Sim Fubara's appeal against Rivers Assembly Speaker Martin Amahule. Federal High Court in Abuja indefinitely adjourns trial of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra. Guatemala declares 3-day national mourning after deadly bus crash kills at least 51 outside country's capital.
In business, Nigeria's high crude production costs threaten revenue as government laments pipeline vandalism, among other ills.
And in sports, Nigeria's Basketball Federation releases 24-man preliminary roster ahead of the 2025 FIBA Afro-Basket qualifiers in Libya.
Tonight begins right now. We begin tonight in Rivers State, South Nigeria, where the Supreme Court has dismissed Governor Siminalayi Fubara's appeal challenging the judgment that nullified the presentation and passage of the state's 2024 budget. Governor Fubara's counsel, Yusuf Ali, told the court that the appeal is no longer necessary because it's been, quote, overtaken by events. The withdrawal comes barely 5 weeks after Governor Fubara signed the state's 2025 budget into law. News Central's Joshua Imarai has more.
The case between the embattled 27 lawmakers from Rivers State and Governor Siminalayi Fubara took a different turn as the counsel to the governor informed the court at the commencement of proceedings that the governor had filed a notice of withdrawal on February the 6th. The court in turn acknowledged the notice, dismissing the appeal and awarded a sum of 2 million naira in cost against the Rivers State governor. After the session, the counsels representing both parties reacted to the judgment.
Consequently, the decisions of the Court of Appeal and that of the Federal High Court, presided over by Honorable Justice Omotosho J, affirming that the Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Honorable Martin Amahule, and the other 26 members of the House of Assembly are the authentic members of that House of Assembly and remain so.
We file an appeal against the judgment of the Court of Appeal in respect of the budget of the state. The budget has since expired. We're now talking of 2025 budget, but that appeal had to do with 2024 budget. Secondly, with respect to the defection, the legislators, it was after the judgment of the High Court, Justice Omotosho, and the Court of Appeal, that they defected. So the question of their defection is now pending before the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt. So, and that is why we withdrew the appeal on the ground that it has been overtaken by events.
However, the counsel to the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission gave an update on the other 5 sister appeal cases before the court.
Luckily today, the 6 appeals were heard and judgment has been reserved. So we'll await the day of judgment. The date will be communicated to the parties and then we'll all be here.
With the judgment of the 5 sister cases reserved, the Supreme Court's ruling affirming the legitimacy of the embattled 27 lawmakers has set a new course for Rivers State politically as they are expected to resume and fully take over the Rivers State Assembly. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarai.
Meanwhile, the Rivers State government and the factional speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Martin Amahule, have been reacting to the Supreme Court's ruling. Edison Ehi, Chief of Staff to Governor Fubara, says the dismissed appeal is about the Court of Appeals ruling asking Governor Fubara to re-present the 2024 budget before the Amahule-led House of Assembly. Ms. Amahule, the factional leader of the Rivers State House of Assembly, says the Supreme Court's dismissal of the appeal is a step in the right direction.
The 10th River State House of Assembly is happy with this development. Rivers people are elated that the Supreme Court has indeed spoken. We want to say that our hope, our confidence in the judiciary is strengthened. We know truly that there is a country with a judiciary that will always interpret the Constitution and our laws in a manner that will be very fair and clear to everyone. It's on record, and the judgment of the Supreme Court today has affirmed that for one whole year, the governor of Rivers State spent taxpayers' money without an appropriation law. 1st January to 31st day of December 2024, the governor of Rivers State spent Rivers people's funds, both internally generated revenue and the federal allocation, from his front pockets, as if the money belongs to his family.
Let's take a closer look at this story with Monday Ubani, a senior advocate of Nigeria who joins me from Abuja, and Okunabo Inkotaraya, a lawyer who joins me from Port Harcourt. Thank you both for making the time. I am going to start this interview with Mr. Ubani. There are conflicting reports about what happened in court today. Can you help us understand it?
Much. What happened at the Supreme Court, I hope I'm being heard. Hope you're hearing me loud and clear.
Absolutely, yes.
Am I being? Okay, fine.
You're very audible.
I said, what happened at the Supreme Court today was that the appellant, and that is the government of Rivers State, withdrew their appeal they filed against the decision of the Court of Appeal. If you remember that there is a decision, or there was a decision reached by the lowest court, High Court, Federal High Court in Abuja, and then there was an appeal. And that particular judgment of the Federal High Court of Justice Omotosho was affirmed by the Court of Appeal. And what is to the effect that the governor should go and present his budget to the majority members of the House and not to the 4 members that actually passed the budget. That was the decision that actually led the state government to appeal to the Supreme Court. So when the appeal was ripe for hearing and it was due for hearing today, the appellant now voluntarily withdrew the appeal and says that the appeal has become academic because according to them, they have appropriated the 2024 budget and it has been executed. And now we are now in the new budget of 2025. So to them, that particular exercise of appeal to the Supreme Court is academic. And so they withdrew the appeal. And when you withdraw your appeal after briefs have been filed before the appellate court, the normal order that the court will ought to make is the issue of dismissal and not striking out. So the matter was dismissed, meaning that the state government will never bring up this matter again before the Supreme Court. Again, that's what it means. It's finally determined. Now, maybe when we go in the course of this discussion, because there has been issue of conflict.
Before I go to my second question, I just want to quickly let our viewers know that we have Mr. Okunabo Inkotaraya has just dropped off. I think we have a little bit of a technical issue there. But let's continue this conversation with you. And let's take a step back, just one step back, to understand where all of this is coming from. Remember that Governor Fubara presented this year's budget to his 4-man House of Assembly members, same way he presented the 2024 budget. What do you make of this? And do you see Amehule's team challenge the decision in court?
Now, there is a situation that is still pending, and that is the issue of determining whether the other 27 members of the House of Assembly are still members of the House as a result of the alleged defection, because there was a defection. There was that particular defection. But I tell you this, the court, the provision of the Constitution with defection is that, yes, the legislators have no right to defect. that if they defect, they lose their seat. That is the provision. But it makes a proviso. The proviso, if there is crisis or disagreement or whatever within your political party, you can be excused.
Would you then say that there is a crisis in the Rivers State House of Assembly, the PDP?
No. In your political party, where you're coming from.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Let me just get you clear. The clause in that ruling is that they are allowed to defect if there is a problem within the party. And the party in question now is the bigger umbrella, the entire PDP, not the state PDP. Is that what you're saying?
It is the political party, not the state PDP. It has to be the political party. But as I said earlier, just allow me to.
It has to be, or it is.
There must be evidence of one crisis within your political party, not necessarily the state party, not necessarily the party in the state, but the party in which you belong. You must belong to a political party, either PDP or APC and all that. If you have any problem within that party, or you can prove that there is merger, that party has gone into merger. These are the two reasons under which you can defect, and you are not going to be said to have lost your seat. I hope you are following my argument.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Now, but when these issues occur, it can only be the judiciary. It's only the judiciary that will determine, because the argument of some lawyers is, because you have defected, you have lost your seat automatically. And I said, no. It is the court that will still determine whether you have lost your seat automatically. Because the man will say, I defected because of so reason. And you are saying, no, you have no reason to have defected. So who evaluate these facts? Because they have joint issues. It is the judiciary that will determine whether they have lost their seat or they are still members of PDP. That has not been determined. I think the judgment of that particular case is coming very soon, because I heard that all the appeals were here today.
That's
and
right.
Judgment reserved. So the issue of whether they are still members of PDP or whether they are now members of APC, whether they have lost their seat automatically by that defection can only be determined by the court, and which is yet to be determined.
But let me ask you, a four-man House of Assembly, is that normal? And can you legislate with just 4 men representing probably 4 constituencies?
The argument of those who are pushing that argument that 4 can, the argument is that, look, the other 27 members are no longer members of the House. That is the argument. In this, I'm not supporting any person. I'm only analyzing law and I'm analyzing fact. The argument of those who are pushing that 4 members can go ahead and appropriate is that those other 27 members are no longer members of the House. They have lost their seats. And they are saying that has been lost automatically. That's the argument. But there are those who are pushing that the 4 members cannot, in a House of other 30-something members, and then only 4 can now appropriate the appropriation bill, that they cannot in any way do that. That's the argument of this. So it's only the court now that will finally determine whether at any point in time that those who have defected have lost their seat automatically from the State House of Assembly, thereby giving room and opportunity for 4 members now to be in a position to go ahead and legislate and make all manner of laws for the state government. So that has to be determined. For now, the position of the law is that the Court of Appeal decision stands that let me say this. What the Court of Appeal decision is that you, the governor, cannot send your appropriation bill to only 4 members of the House. Now, the man appealed against that decision. But when he now got to the Supreme Court, he now said that he has become academic, and he withdrew. So the position of the law with the Court of Appeal is that you cannot send your bill, the appropriation bill, to only 4 members of the House. That remains the position of the law. Okay. But if they now succeed with the Supreme Court saying that those 27 members have actually lost their seat, it then means that 4 members can validly legislate and then add the appropriation bill. The appropriation bill can be done handled by them appropriately.
I guess the saga continues then. We'll keep our fingers crossed and our eyes on the story. Thank you so much, Monday Ubani, a senior advocate of Nigeria, for your thoughts tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Good evening.
Coming up tonight, family of 35-year-old slain in cold blood demand justice. We have details of these and more after the break. Do stay with us. Well, Welcome back. You're watching Tonight on News Central. I'm Adeshawa Josh. A reminder of our top stories. Supreme Court dismisses Governor Sim Fubara's appeal against Rivers Assembly Speaker Martin Amahule. Federal High Court in Abuja adjourns indefinitely trial of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra. Guatemala declares 3-day national mourning after a deadly bus crash kills at least 51 outside country's capital. We're staying in Rivers State, where the family of late Chikuma Egbule in Ikwere local government area of Rivers State are demanding justice for their son who was murdered. 35-year-old Chikuma was allegedly shot and killed by an official of the Nigeria Police Force on Saturday. News Center's correspondent Austin Azu has been following the story.
It's the back entrance into late Maswe's apartment. And this is what the police did to gain entrance into the apartment. We were told that the police forcefully broke into this place using these pillars on the floor to break this door open to gain entrance into late Maswe's apartment. You can see on the floor some of the bullets, and this is one of the bullets that was fired at Maxwell that claimed his life. And this is a spillover bullet that was found on the ground. On the floor, you can still see some spilled blood. However, the families seems to be mourning. And what are their demands at this point in time?
One policeman says, fire him, shoot him down, shoot him down. I say, sir, please don't shoot. Sir, please don't shoot. We are going to settle this thing amicably. Sir, please don't shoot. Sir, please, for the sake of my baby, sir, please don't shoot. That was when they shoot the gun. When they shoot the gun, they now follow the frontage.
The victim's younger sister, Doris Egbulem, described her late brother as peaceful and friendly, provided the kind of business her brother is doing.
My brother is a businessman. He do agents for land. He do agents for people. If you want to buy land, he will do the agent for you for selling and buying.
The other brother to late Chukuma Egbulem, Bright Egbulem, and aunt demand justice for their kid brother.
But one thing that is sure is that our brother cannot just die like that. You can't just wear a uniform that government gave you, refuse to understand the norms of your uniform. Take gun and shoot anyhow, shoot whoever you want to shoot. Human beings are not animals. So we'll ask for justice.
So what I need now is government should justice, to have justice upon this thing. They should take care of this girl, is only 6 children, small kid. No one has reached out to primary one.
Others further provided updates what the police allegedly carted away during the sting operation.
I get into my room, they have entered inside my room and break my laptop and took my 15,000 naira, and I saw blood everywhere.
The almost 300,000 that was inside the house, my husband want to use an open business for me. They collected it. Some phones that people plugged, that even my husband's phone, they plug while the gen was on. They collected all. My children's tablets, they collected it.
Though the spokesperson for the Rivers State Police Command, Grace Irukoko, in a statement, revealed that the trigger-happy police officer had been arrested, while the body of late Chukuma Egbulem deposited in the morgue. My investigation is ongoing. These children of late Maxwell Egbulem will have to live without their father for the rest of their lives. In Umwagobia community in Ikwere local government area of Rivers State, I'm Austin Azu.
And now Austin joins me from us about Delta State. Austin, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I understand you were at the deceased family, as you have been reporting. What more can you tell us at this time?
Good evening. First and foremost, the family are still mourning the death of their beloved son, and the wife, of course, just saw it as a victory, still in a very sorrowful mood. They're fully aware that the husband was not sick. Very unfortunate that accident happened on Saturday night. So the family of Michael Maxwell Egbulem are still believing and hoping that justice will be served. Everyone seems to be lauding the justice. And everyone seems not to have, gotten a response from the authorities regarding what has happened. And they are still expecting that they will have some time to, talk about this, maybe precisely when the police will respond to their demands.
We're going to have to keep an eye on the story as you keep reporting it. Thank you so much, Austin, for the latest on that story.
You're welcome.
The Federal High Court in Abuja has indefinitely adjourned the terrorism trial of Nnamdi Kanu, the self-proclaimed leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra. The presiding judge, Judge Binta Nyako, declared the ruling after Mr. Kanu questioned her impartiality. News Central Sagir Ibrahim has been covering the proceedings and has the latest.
The day's hearing is about to commence in earnest, but a visibly agitated Nnamdi Kanu insists that the proceedings cannot continue with Justice Binta Nyako as the presiding judge.
Why is it when it comes to my case, they turn the law upside down? They turn the law upside down. Upside down.
The IPOB leader laments that his trial remains stalled despite a Supreme Court pronouncement alleging bias in the handling of his case.
These things are in the public domain. Why, therefore, are they insisting on trying this? A court order was entered. In that very court order, it was said very clearly and distinctly that he is no more. That he is no more going to try me. Why are they insisting?
Kanu was initially scheduled to appear for a hearing on Monday, February 10, 2025, as stated in a hearing notice addressed to his lead counsel, Aloy Ejimakor, who now says the case remains largely unchanged.
So we came here today on a limited appearance. We appeared under protest out of utmost respect for the judge and for the court, to listen to the court as to the reasons why we were invited before the same court that was recused in September last year. Once an order of court is made, the only way you can set it aside is to take it on appeal. Our submission on the record is that the court stands recused until that order is set aside.
Reacting to the development, rights activist Omoyele Shore, who was present in court, described the adjournment as an opportunity for the government to take the appropriate course of action.
Today is the final day to sit down and release Nnamdi Kanu. You cannot not assume jurisdiction over a case from which you have disqualified yourself. Hopefully, they will, within that period of time, resolve this matter. I won't even say in the interest of justice, it's in their own interest.
Kanu had previously requested that his case be transferred to the Southeast if no other judge at the Federal High Court in Abuja was willing to hear it, aside from Justice Nyako, whom he now accuses of being unfit to preside over the matter. On September 24, 2024, Kanu made an open court request for Justice Nyako to recuse herself, citing lack of confidence in her handling of the case. It has been almost a decade since Kanu's legal troubles began. First arrested by DSS operatives in October 2015, he has been in and out of detention on charges including criminal conspiracy and membership in an illegal organization. In June 2021, he was rearrested and extradited to Nigeria, where he remains in the custody of the DSS. Kanu's legal battles have been marked by arrests, prolonged court proceedings, and allegations of human rights violations, highlighting the ongoing tensions between IPOB and the Nigerian government. What happens next remains uncertain as the case unfolds in the coming days. In Abuja, Sagir Ibrahim for News Central.
Nnamdi Kanu, the self-proclaimed leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra, has been at the center of a long and complex legal battle. Let's take a closer look at the key events surrounding his case. In 2021, Kanu was arrested in Kenya on June the 27th and extradited to Nigeria. He was arraigned in court on June 29th, facing charges of terrorism, treason, and inciting public violence. In 2022, the Abia State High Court ruled that Kanu's 2017 arrest was unlawful and an infringement on his human rights. Despite the ruling, Kanu remained in custody and his trial continued. The Nigerian Supreme Court reinstated terrorism charges against Kanu in December 2023. His lead counsel, Aloy Ejimakor, continued to advocate for his release in 2024, with some Nigerian politicians also calling for his freedom. Now, Justice Binta Nyako adjourned his trial indefinitely on Monday because Kanu questioned the judge's impartiality. Still ahead tonight, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar visits his former boss, Olusegun Obasanjo, at his home in Abeokuta. We have details in just a moment. Do stay with us. Welcome back to politics now. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has dismissed all political insinuations following his visit to former President Olusegun Obasanjo in Abeokuta on Monday. Atiku was accompanied by two former governors, Aminu Tambuwal and Aloy Ejimakor of Sokoto and Cross River states. Several other prominent politicians were also in attendance. Atiku and members of his entourage were welcomed by elder statesman Oyewole Fashawe before they all went straight into a private meeting with Obasanjo, who had been waiting for his visitors.
Yes, sir. Cool down.
Just courtesy visit.
Okay. Just a lot of people believe that you and Peter Obi have been having meetings for so long.
It's a courtesy visit, please.
Is this related to
I'm not going to talk about politics, please.
All right.
Thank you.
Is this connected
Let's
to
go. Thank you very much.
It's okay. So let's go. Make a way. Thank you. Yeah. It's okay. Sorry.
So, is it really a courtesy visit? Let's bring in Peter Ame, a political analyst who joins me from Abuja for more on this story. Thank you so much, Peter, for joining us. What do you make of the visit? Peter, if you can hear me, what do you make of the visit?
Okay. For me, I think it's a good movement for the opposition. The opposition movement is waxing stronger. If you look at the meeting conference that was held in Abuja the other time, and a lot of discussions that was had, you could see the commitment in trying to make sure that the 2027 election is properly planned for ahead of time. And for what is going on, I think I'm very pleased so far with what Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, Aloy Ejimakor, Tambuwal, and every other person involved is doing to make sure that we get it right in 2027. Because for the opposition, the key is to continue to put the issues on the front burner. The key is to continue to be able to connect and look at the best possible fiber that can hold together all the oppositional components to be able to generate the necessary momentum needed to defeat the APC. And this kind of movement, continue to, reinforces that that interest in what is meant to achieve, and also boost the confidence of Nigeria on how this collaboration will come about in saving the country.
So tell me, how do you think this meeting will impact Atiku's potential presidential ambitions, if he has one? After all, he said it's just a courtesy visit.
Yeah, it's a courtesy visit, but you can't do without discussing politics with Baba. Baba is one person who has been very keen about the interest of Nigeria, and who has also shown, the former president Olusegun Obasanjo has also shown his interest and what he feels there should be some level of equity and equality in the management of the nation's affairs, which is reason he has been saying that the Southeastern president is now have come of age, and he has thrown his weight several times behind Peter Obi. So we must look at data. And for us, what we discuss with the opposition leaders and we talk with them, we tell you we can't work without data. Statistics is data is the only reason why you can have proper planning. Because the 2023 election, if you look at what came out from the southern part of Nigeria and the election result, Peter Obi scored 44.5% of the vote, about 4,020,687 votes that got from the south. And Tinubu, who had largely been in government for a long time and a politics within the south, a big politician within the south, was able to come out distant second with about 35.5%. and Atiku coming with about 19.4%. If you look at what Kwakwaso had, was about 0.46%. So less than 2 million votes in the whole entire of the South. So if you look at, if the opposition really want to make a good showing in the 2027 election, if they really are committed in saving this country, I think they should look at the data, form a nucleus around the data, and look for a way that these two disjointed feelings of who should be the president should not be the issue. The issue is that who is most acceptable in the public domain today, that the youth will go after, that the Nigerians will believe in the policy implementation programs that have been initiated, that we can all put our forces around and then make election a successful one for the opposition come to itself. So these are, I think that's the advice that we look at. And this visit, you cannot say that politics was not discussed, but maybe it's a private discussion, and with time, as time goes on, we'll see the details of this discussion, and we'll see that it will also better still help the opposition, because for now the opposition is doing very well, and the APC is very jittery about the movement of the opposition across this country.
Peter, I guess we will just have to wait and see. For now, it is just a courtesy visit. Thank you so much, Peter Ame, political analyst, for joining us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Let's take a look at other stories now. Nigeria's Vice President, Kashim Shettima, has reaffirmed the commitment of the federal government to integrate every citizen into the nation's financial ecosystem. This was as the Vice President inaugurated Nigeria's Presidential Committee on Economic and Financial Inclusion as part of efforts by the government to build a $1 trillion economy by 2030. Amadine Uyi has the report.
It was the inauguration of a presidential committee to provide adequate infrastructure to build financial gaps and create an inclusive environment for the poorest of the poor in Nigeria.
The inauguration of this committee and the formalization of this investment committee reinforced President Tinubu's pledge to an inclusive economy, a vision that has been endorsed by the National Economic Council.
As we formally inaugurate this presidential committee and commence the operationalization, I would say, of the 2024 ASO Accord, it is imperative that we affirm our collective commitment to the terms of reference that will guide our work and indeed measure stage by stage our progress.
Several in attendance say with the committee delivering on President Bola Tinubu's mandate, Nigerians will benefit immensely and the economy will take a giant leap.
We have millions of Nigerians, very hardworking Nigerians who are in rural communities, who are socially excluded by not being included in the financial system. And a lot of them cannot get credit, cannot access any financial assistance and support.
We cannot grow our economy at the expense of our common humanity. So which means that we have to carry the weakest among us. We have to design programs and policies that target those vulnerable ones, those very weak ones among us.
We have people that are living below the poverty line, almost 70%. That was the last statistics before us. And I believe if we address this issue effectively with the leadership given to us by His Excellency the Vice President, and all the stakeholders sitting here today are committed and determined. I have no doubt in my mind we will address this problem within a very short time.
The Vice President says that the committee is proof of government's commitment to carrying Nigerians along and integrating poor citizens in the nation's financial ecosystem.
We remain resolute in mitigating the short-term effects of economic reforms, expanding financial opportunities, and ensuring that every Nigerian, regardless of geography or status, is integrated into our economic growth story.
The event also witnessed the signing of an investment agreement by private sector stakeholders to provide foundational infrastructure for the full commencement of the ASO Accord initiative. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
take a look at stories outside of the continent. Guatemala has been thrown into mourning after a bus accident killed at least 51 people, leaving several others injured. The tragedy occurred when a bus veered off a highway bridge in the outskirts of Guatemala's capital and plummeted into a polluted ravine. Rescue efforts were swiftly launched, with spokesman for the city's fire service, Norano, confirming that attempts were being made to save those trapped in the wreckage. The bodies of 36 men and 15 women have been recovered and sent to a provincial morgue. The bus was traveling on a busy route in and out of the capital when the accident occurred at Puente Belize, a highway bridge that spans a road and creek. Guatemalan President Bernardo Arevalo has since declared a 3-day national mourning and mobilized the army and disaster agency to support response efforts. We'll take a look at business news after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Lekon from our business desk joins me now with the latest business news. Lekon, what do we have?
Of course, I'll take you through the stories right now.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
Nigeria spends at least 1.57 trillion naira monthly. We're talking 18.9 trillion naira annually on crude oil production, with costs ranging between $25 and $40 per barrel, significantly higher than Saudi Arabia's $10. Rising expenses driven by insecurity, outdated infrastructure, and oil theft limit government revenue from crude oil sales. In 2024, Nigeria's crude oil revenue reached 50.88 trillion naira, but high production costs consumed a significant share. The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission aims to cut costs to $20 per barrel in 2025 to boost competitiveness and attract investment. Without reforms, Nigeria risks further revenue losses in the global oil markets. Let's now look at the equities market. South Africa's benchmark stock index surged to a record high as investors focused on economic prospects rather than U.S. President Donald Trump's aid freeze. The FTSE Johannesburg Stock Exchange Africa All-Share Index rose 0.5%, driven by soaring gold prices amid tariff concerns. Gold miners gained 2.3%, while the rand briefly slumped before stabilizing. Despite tensions over land policies and foreign relations, investor confidence remains strong due to government efforts to revive state-owned enterprises. Analysts predict further market gains if economic reforms progress, with potential relief from a weaker dollar by 2025 or maybe early 2026. At the end of the first weekday of trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a total of 567,288,779 shares in 17,843 deals, corresponding to a market value of 10.413 billion naira, were traded. Today's data shows 49% improvement in volume, 13% improvement in turnover, and 39% improvement in deals. So basically, the all-share index declined marginally by 0.04%, settling at 105,891.33. Despite the minor loss, the market capitalization remained at 66.07 trillion naira, reflecting overall market resilience. Let's look at the sectoral performance. Now, talking about it, the banking sector, of course, appeared as the biggest loser, shading 1.02%. The insurance index also recorded a slight decline of 0.04%, while, of course, the oil and gas sector advanced by 0.09%, consumer goods 0.10%, and, of course, industrial goods 0.08%. And this shows that sustained investor interest in construction, cement, and manufacturing stocks is still persistent in that particular sector. And that's it on business news. We're not done anyway. To stay with us, there's more to come.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
Welcome back. It's time for some sports news with Udoka. Udoka, what do we have?
A lot's happening in the world of sports. I'll tell you more shortly.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
The Nigeria Basketball Federation has released a preliminary roster for the men's national basketball team, the D Tigers, ahead of the 2025 FIBA AfroBasket qualifiers third window set to take place in Tripoli, Libya from the 17th to the 24th of February 2025. 11 home-based players made the 24-man list, with the team to be led by head coach Abdurrahman Mohammed, who led the team through the first window. Mohammed will be assisted by former Nigerian international Deji Akindele and Isikaku Ikene Smart, an assistant coach with the Portland Trail Blazers in the NBA. Nigeria currently sits at the bottom of Group B after 3 straight losses to Cape Verde, Libya, and Uganda. The team needs a top 3 finish to secure spots in the 2025 tournament set to be hosted by Angola. In football, former Super Eagles forward Brownie Dyer is poised to make his return for Enyimba in their next league game after recovering from a minor injury. The 36-year-old has missed Enyimba's last 2 league matches but has resumed personal training in preparation for his comeback. Brownie Dyer has made 4 league appearances for Enyimba, scoring 1 goal. Now, the team will host leaders Remo Stars in a Week 24 fixture in Aba on Sunday, with Enyimba currently 8th in the league table with 31 points. Moving on to the Ghana Premier League, the management of Hearts of Oak and Asante Kotoko in a joint statement have proposed to the Ghana Football Association to provide 20 soldiers to be assigned to Category A matches and some high-risk Category B matches, following the unfortunate death of famous Kotoko supporter Nana Puli and hooliganism in the Ghana Premier League. The 2 clubs have joined forces to ensure tight security at venues. They also recommended that security personnel should be sourced from different regions rather than the locally acquired match officials and match venues, and that security cameras should be installed at all league centers. Now, other security-related proposals included conducting a new risk assessment to properly categorize matches and relocating games from venues that do not meet the necessary safety standards. Now, the NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has named Trae Young as a replacement for Milwaukee Bucks forward Giannis Antetokounmpo, who will miss Sunday's game due to a left calf injury. Now, this will be Young's 4th NBA All-Star selection and his 2nd as an injury replacement. He will play on Team Chalk, the unit drafted by Charles Barkley, alongside Nikola Jokic, Victor Wembanyama, and Karl Anthony Towns, among others. The 74th NBA All-Star Game will take place on Sunday, the 16th of February at Chase Center in San Francisco as part of the new 4-team, 3-game mini-tournament. And that's a wrap on Sport Update. I am Udoka Njoko.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
Back. Sam Dandy is here from our entertainment desk with the latest in the entertainment world. What's happening, Sam?
It's a lot of basketballs now.
What's that?
See, basketballs is, what Gen Zs call a little bit of fight. But okay. Hey, this one's between Ashake and a former team member from one of his, of course, teams. And now they are going back and forth about what had happened. But what's funny to me is how much information is actually available. Now, he's called him a pathological liar and so much more. I'm going to tell you about that right after this quick break.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
Well, we got to talk about this one. All the basketballs, like I like to say before. This guy's name is called Tunde Babalola. Now, he used to work with Asake, right? Some people call him a strategist, and he's taking full credit for the European leg of Asake's successful Lungu Boy tour. Now, what's happening is he put out a couple of posts calling him a pathological liar and a user. Now, people are reacting to this saying, I mean, what evidence do you have? You know, if this is more than what it is, then take him to court, right? And somehow, Asake hasn't responded to this. But when you go backtrack, because I had to do a little bit of research, apparently ever since, you know, they stopped working together, he's had a lot of nasty things to say. In fact, the other time he called Ashake's recent single military, the rollout for it, he just probably insulted it, calling it trashy. Well, ever since Asake, you know, he's obviously left YBNL. Yeah, so now he's pursuing it on his own. So I guess that's where all they made a lot of money, so they don't want, yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it happens.
Hopefully, we'll see how this one pans out. But hey, everyone's talking about this. Kanye West as well on the international scene. Now,
what is he up to now?
See, every single now and then there's a manic situation going on. He put out a couple of serial posts from insulting Ariana Grande, you know, to talking about, or bragging as he would say. And he had so much to say, including a lot of recent insulting comments against the Jewish community. And, well, they asked him to apologize. He tweeted saying that he will not apologize. And guess what happens next? He's officially off socials. Yep. He was given a strike.
He
took himself out and put a final post saying, well, bye-bye for now. In layman terms. I guess the pain is, if you're going to say something, he did say that, you know what, this is social media, he's allowed to say whatever he wants to say and will not apologize, which in some form is true, but there's also a sensitive part of socials that could affect someone else who's probably far away from you and looks up to you. Well,
hasn't it gotten into trouble before for saying something odd?
All the time.
Against the Jewish community?
All the time. I guess he's not learned from it, and he will do it again.
Or this is another publicity stunt?
Maybe, but for what exactly? That's the thing.
You never know. You never know.
I guess we're going to have to wrap it up on entertainment for tonight.
All right,
thank you so much.
Thanks, Sam.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
And that's the news tonight. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, AVO TV, and on YouTube. Thanks a lot for watching. I am Adeshawa Josh. I'll see you tomorrow.